Good morning, how are you doing? Welcome to the DrivingMaul report from the All Blacks closed training session yesterday. Yep, I was extremely lucky to get invited along to watch the All Blacks final training session, which was a closed one by Scott from DrivingMaul, Scott from Rugby United and Dove Men. Thank you very much. It was extremely interesting. Also had Alex Corbusiero sat just next to me, and we had a chat about what was going on, and he helped explain stuff. True gent. So again, thank you for his time. He was telling us the differences of scrumming against Owen Franks and Charlie Fuamina, and telling us that that Reed is one hell of a hard tackler as well. So. Yeah, a very interesting day and great to get the insight of someone who's played against these players. Sorry, I wasn't allowed to take any videos. This is one of those sessions or the types of sessions that's caused arguments before about drones and stuff. As you would expect, what they talk about is train as you intend to play. And so the intensity of the session was very high. It wasn't a full contact session, but it was. They were playing. There was some touches, heavy touches, and some minor rucking, nothing too big. But I guess some of the things Alex Corbusiero was, as he said, he was very impressed by the intensity and the skill level. And let's be honest, those are the things we see on the pitch. You'd very rarely see an All Black lying down, having made a tackle and slow to get up. They're always back in the line. The skill levels, we all talk about the All Black skill levels all the time. And Kieran Reid's pass off the floor in the first test and that kind of stuff. So, unsurprisingly, yes, the skill set was very high, the intensity was very high, and it was a wet day, and so we still saw very few mistakes. Luckily, I was in the stands and so covered in the dry, but the players weren't. They were out there in the wet. And at the end of the session, it was absolutely torrential, and we even had lightning not that far away, or at least in the distance, and the kickers were still out there practicing their kicking. Because you know what? They don't just have to play in the nice dry, they also have to play in the wet as well. So it was very interesting from that point of view. It's also interesting to see how little wasted time there was. So we were sat there, so they came down, and it was straight into it. The transitions between different types of sessions were all very quick. There was very little standing around time at all during the whole session. It was go, go, go the whole time. So short but intense is kind of one of the mantras of a lot of training nowadays, and it was interesting to see that as well. As I say, sorry I'm not allowed to produce any videos from it. That's because they would be practicing the shapes and stuff that they'll be playing with tomorrow. But it was a great time to see that. I've never been to a closed training session before. It was interesting to see Steve Hansen on the paddock blowing the whistle, telling players what to do, saying what the next situation was, etc. He appears to be a very hands-on coach, getting involved in all of that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure what more I can tell you. Oh, it was also good to see some of the injured players out there. I say it was a non-contact session, so seeing Dan Coles and Ryan Crotty actually actually sort of moving around, which is good, because obviously we're worried about the players as well. So also a big thank you for my new T-shirt from Scott. It was, I'd say, a very enlightening day, and I can't wait for the test tomorrow.